Hi. So, yeah. It's kind of weird to have this sort of in the middle. I'm not used to having this sort of like angle, I guess we could call it. I don't know. But yeah, I'm usually like, I have my laptop here, camera's right here, so I'm filming like to the side, and this time it's not really like that. But yeah, this is basically the video that if you saw my community tab here on YouTube, and if you saw my Twitter or my Instagram where I both posted on all of them, basically, this is the video that is actually coming out, hopefully, if everything goes well, on the day that this channel sort of turns 1 year. It doesn't really, because I made the channel beforehand, but I posted for the first time 1 year ago, if you're watching this on the 10th of April. If not, then it's 1 year basically when I tried to post this. I posted my first video basically a year ago. I don't know why I'm like trying to, whatever. And yeah, I went through every single like sort of path you could say that YouTubers usually, a lot of them at least, go through, which is that I started out with videos that had neither my voice nor my face in them. Then I slowly went into having my voice in them. Then I slowly went into having my face. I actually went through a phase that's kind of embarrassing to admit, but I will, which is my first reaction video was actually to Huasa's Maria, and I tried to actually post my reaction to that video, but I blurred my face. Yeah. So it looked not scary at all, of course. I mean, as you can imagine, a blurry face reacting to something. And yeah, that was not cute. So I actually deleted that reaction. And then I went into, of course, reacting to my face, with my face. Not reacting to my face, because that would not be a great reaction. And then I, of course, ended up going from beyond K-pop into BLs. And now we're here. So I asked, of course, like I said, a lot of you to give me some questions, both on Twitter and on Instagram and here on the community tab of YouTube. So I got so many. Like, I was actually pretty impressed because I was so sure that I would I even posted, the tweet actually says if there are any questions, I will film this, because I was so sure there wouldn't be any. But there were a good amount of them, so, enough for me to actually react to this. By the way, if my voice sounds weird, or if, I sort of look weird, it's because I'm sick. So I'm not as bad as I was when I tweeted about it, actually, because I tweeted that I was not going to film yesterday because I was it was not cute, not at all. So I couldn't, but today I'm doing much better, so, why not? Okay, so the first big question that I got, I believe, was one of the ones that I got the most, was about my name, about the name of the channel, about how to pronounce the name of the channel, if it was my real name, if I had a nickname, many things like that. So when it comes to the name, a lot of people ask me how to pronounce it. It's not really a thing, it's not really a name, so I don't know or believe that there is a way to pronounce it. To explain it a bit better, the name actually is a culmination, I guess you could call it, it's basically all the names of the BTS members combined, sort of, in some weird way or another, even if it's just by some initials, it's their names combined. The reason why I actually chose that name is because once I got into K-pop, around 2 years ago, but the first K-pop group that I actually got to listen to, even 2 years ago, it was BTS, but I actually listened to Dope when it came out. I believe it was in 2015, if I'm not wrong about that, and I listened to that for a month, and I really enjoyed it, but I never really questioned whether it was K-pop or anything a genre. I just assumed, it was music from another country, so it had another language. I didn't even bother to actually go and check out the language. It was just music. I liked it. They danced amazingly. The video was great. So I was it's great. So I literally just watched the music video for around 2 months, maybe, almost every day. And then I moved on from it, and I didn't really go and check out their music, which now I regret so much. but you know, it was kind of meant to be, I guess. And then a few years later, like 2 years ago, a good friend of mine actually told me that she needed to introduce me to a group. I actually asked her why one of her girlfriends had in her phone was like saved as Jungkook's wife. That was literally her name on her phone. So I was like, what is that? Like, I don't know how to read that. I didn't even know what Jungkook was, if that was a person, if there was a character in a show, if there was like, you know, I had no idea. So she basically was like, oh, this is from that group I want to tell you about. So once I go to your house, I'll show it to you. And then she one day came to my house and she was like, I'll show you now. And I was like, okay. And then she showed me Not Today. And I was like, they sound familiar. Like, I don't know why, but they look familiar to me. And then I checked out a few more videos and I found out that Dope was actually their song. And I was like, what the hell? I listened to them years ago and I could have found this world way sooner and I didn't, which was stupid of me. But yeah. So that was sort of how it became, you know, a thing. I ended up creating an Instagram account specifically for K-pop because I had way too many groups that I wanted to follow and I needed an account specifically for K-pop. So I ended up creating one. When I was thinking about a name, I was like, why not just join all their names? I mean, the account was basically supposed to be for them. So at the time, I just I went with that name. And then when I created the channel, I thought, you know, probably people from Instagram are going to know me the best, so why not go with that? And yeah, that's basically how it started, I guess you could say. So yeah, that's the name. Now, when it comes to it being my real name, of course, as we can imagine, since I said that I just created it, it's not my real name. I don't really choose to use my real name or say my real name just because, you know, I don't feel the need to. It's sort of like a stage name and I'm okay with using it. So if you want to use like a nickname, I guess, you know, since that's what many people are asking. What most people here on the channel have been calling me using, which I've been totally fine with, I've actually enjoyed it, is basically TS. So if you want to go by that, I'm okay with it. But honestly, I really don't care. Like, you can call me whatever you want. Call me by your name. I don't care, you know? Like, it's really totally fine. I don't really have any preference, you know? It's just like that. It's okay. You can call me however you really wish to. But TS is basically what most people have been actually calling me, and I actually like that. So if you want to go with that, that's totally fine. So second question, I believe that was the one I saw the most, was what I was studying or like what I was doing with my life, if I was working, like anything like that. So as a few of you probably know if you follow me on my Twitter, mostly because that's, I believe, where I talked about it the most, I'm currently still studying. I did my bachelor's degree for 3 years in philosophy. Yeah. Yeah. And now I'm in my first year of my master's degree in sociology. I hope that's how you say it. I really am not used to saying these names, but yeah, that's what I'm doing right now. I have 1 year left in my master's degree, and I'm not quite sure if I'm going to do more than that, honestly, at this point in time. I personally feel like I'm ready to, after this, go into, you know, a job and work on what I'm currently studying. But yeah, that's basically what I'm doing. Still studying, have a lot to do, which is mostly why I sometimes disappear out of this channel and don't really post, because I have essays and stuff like that to do. And let's just say the master's degree, it gives you a lot more time, but it also takes it away from you. Like, I have only 2 days of classes, but those 2 days are completely filled and I get like 3 assignments for every single class that I have, which is 4. So basically the rest of the days I have still a lot to do. But yeah, you know, I'm really enjoying what I'm doing. I really enjoy the concepts and everything that I talk about and learn about. So that's, I guess, kind of all that matters. But yeah, that's what I'm studying besides doing this. And that's sort of why I also am always still intrigued with a lot of things, you know, and topics and shows like these that sort of relate to what I'm studying. So yeah, that's basically that. Okay, so another question that I saw was actually that I thought was pretty interesting was, let me see if I can find it. Are you ever willing to consider opening your channel to other type of reactions other than BL and sometimes K-pop? If so, which type of reactions? I specifically chose this one because if some of you know, I actually wanted to do that. I didn't end up doing it a lot. I did it for like one video, which is actually movie reactions. I've always wanted to do movie reactions, movie commentaries, outside of BLs or K-pop, and I actually did it with cyberbullying and the movie. And yeah, that was something that I definitely wanted to do, and definitely something that I still want to do. I don't quite know if I should do it on this channel, just because, you know, I feel like for a lot of people that aren't interested, maybe they wouldn't really enjoy it. I don't know. I'm thinking about maybe either creating a system, sort of like a schedule that I can post on here for what days I'm posting, like BLs or stuff about BLs, and others for movie reactions. But at the same time, I really didn't want to constrict myself to a schedule or to days, because then I would feel the, you know, necessity to keep up with that schedule, and that's really not good for me or for anyone else. So I don't quite know, but, you know, we'll see how that goes. But that would definitely be something that I would be interested to do. If there are any movies or shows, BL or not, that you'd love to see me react to, definitely leave it down in the comments. And, you know, if I see that a lot of people want to see it, I'll definitely check it out. So another one that I get a lot is about the languages that I speak. How many languages do I speak? Why do I speak these languages? And stuff like that. Actually, also about my favorite word in every language that I speak, which that one was pretty original. I didn't see anyone asking me other than that person about that, but yeah. When it comes to that, basically, it's kind of crazy, weird, but yeah. Basically, both my parents are from Portugal. My parents are from where I am right now. But, you know, once I was still not even born, my sister was born, but still very young. They basically, you know, this country wasn't really doing as well. And so they decided to move to Germany because, you know, they just needed to find a better place for better jobs and better opportunities. So they decided to move to Germany, and they started living there and working there. And basically that was when I was then born. I was born there. I lived there for around 7 years. And then when I was starting school, basically my father lost his job. My sister was sort of in that middle age, so to say. She wasn't like falling in love already or had way too many friends that she was very close to. So my parents were like, before he starts school, before she falls in love and then doesn't want to go with us, maybe it would be best if we now move back to, you know, our country. It was doing better at that time. So they decided to move back, and they told me, actually, we're going to go to Portugal and you're going to see the schools there. And if you like the school there, we stay there. If you don't like it, we'll come back. So I was like, you know, I felt very important at the time. I was like, oh my God, basically I am deciding this. I love that. Yeah, that was not the point at all. I saw the school here. I was like, I don't like it. And they were like, well, I'm sorry, but we're staying here. So yeah, I moved here. Not really that I wanted to, but I ended up moving here. But yeah, you know, during the 7 years, of course, I spoke German. I was taught German, and I lived in Germany, so I spoke German. But my parents, of course, at home spoke Portuguese because they wanted me to learn it. And then I, of course, moved here, so I learned it, basically, like I had no other choice. When it comes to English, English is kind of a weird language that I don't quite remember learning. I don't know why. It's kind of weird, because in my mind, I sincerely cannot think of a moment that I didn't know English. Like, I don't remember a time in my life that I didn't know how to speak English. But, like, of course, I wasn't born already knowing English, so it's kind of weird, but I really do not remember a time in my life that I didn't know English. I always remember being, like, the person that knew English before I even started classes in English. I was always the one. I think it was because probably English and German have some similarities in some cases. So I think in that way I kind of was drawn to English. I don't know. Many people that speak German actually tell me that I'm delusional for saying that, because they don't think it's that similar. But I do. I don't know why. But yeah, I guess that's basically it. I only know those languages. I know Spanish. I had 3 years in Spanish, but I don't remember a lot, which is kind of sad. But I didn't really like my teacher, so I didn't really like learning from her, which was, you know, bad. But yeah, those 3 years in Spanish really didn't bring me much. And I'm currently learning Korean because of, you know, the K-pop reality of it. And I actually really do enjoy the language, and I would love to know much more of it. But, you know, it's hard. And I would definitely like to one day, if possible, with my own money, definitely like take actual classes. I won't give up on it. So yeah, maybe I'll add Korean one day to the languages that I can speak fluently. But yeah, that's basically it. I think that's a good amount of languages, so yeah. Has anybody told you that you kind of look like Yuan from Sign Language Webtoon? No. Let me check out who that is, because I'm actually kind of interested now to see if I do look like him. Okay, I see, it's the glasses, isn't it? Okay. Well, I think he looks much better than me. Kinda looks very good. If I look like that, I will be happy to accept, but I do believe that this man looks much better than I do. But thank you, I guess. Okay, do you think fan service is okay when actors pretend to be in love with each other? I think it's BL, LGBTQ plus cultural appropriation. Sometimes it's okay and cute, but sometimes it makes me sad when my gay or bisexual icons are straight in reality. So, yeah. That's a heavy topic. I mean, that's a controversial topic, I guess you could say. I personally have no issue in it, but also because I already go into it knowing and putting in my mind that it is fan service and that it is specifically for the time the show is in the running. I feel like that also when it comes to like other shows, like even straight shows, you know, sometimes you really do get involved with the reality of shipping. I feel like shipping in general is something that can be very cute, can be very fun, and very cute and helpful for the show. But I do also see that a lot of times, you know, it gets way too crazy. Specifically in the BL world, it gets so crazy that, yeah. I mean, is it sad that they use actors that are not straight? Yes. That are not gay, I mean, yes. I do believe that for an LGBTQ show, it would be a lot more helpful if you were actually, and just in general helpful for the community, if you were giving those jobs to actual open LGBTQ actors. It's not that hard to find them. They are out there and they're wanting these jobs, but they don't get them. But of course, you know, I also do believe and see that, you know, there is no wrong in having a straight guy doing an acting job when it comes to being gay. If that also wouldn't mean that gay guys get denied jobs as straight guys because they're gay in real life, that's kind of the stupidity of it. You know, a gay guy can play a straight guy can play a gay guy, but when a gay guy tries to play a straight guy, a lot of times the directors or casting, you know, directors can't really look behind the fact that he's gay in real life to see that he's acting straight. So that is definitely something that is wrong. But I do believe that, you know, our community, and if you're doing a show about BLs, you should have BLs with LGBTQ actors. That's the whole point, and we would never in a million years accept it when it comes to other things, like having a different race played on TV or anything like that. But when it comes to transgender or gay, a lot of times, since it's not something that is visual, not featuring, you know, actually visually, we kind of close our eyes to it, which I, you know, don't really agree on. Specifically because, you know, a straight guy, of course they can play the, you know, things that we have to go through as LGBTQ members in our lives, but, you know, it's always different if you are actually a part of the community. You can feel what you're playing because you know you've been through it a lot of times. So, you know, yeah, it's definitely not something that I agree with, but, you know, the amount of, you know, visual reality that it brings, you know, the fact that it brings visibility to the LGBT community, I think it's amazing. And of course, if the actors, even though they're straight, totally, you know, are in the show and talking outside of the show about how it's important that we embrace every single part of love, even if it is between two men or two women, then I think it's very important also, because a lot of times, you know, having the privileged side of the world use their voice in order to lift us up is very important. So when it comes to that, I do believe that it's okay. But yeah, of course, we can look at it and be like, you know, you should be giving these jobs to actual actors who are what, you know, you want them to play. So I definitely see the point there, yeah. You talk about drama ships, show ships, but I really want to know about your real life love stories. Where are you at the lead? Have any? So I'm 22, and I would say that I have been actually in relationships, like I would say committed, definitely like we both sort of, it was a relationship 2 times maybe in my life. I don't know if that's good or not, a good amount or not, but I don't look at it in that way. But yeah, I'm single right now, so that should tell you everything. So the first sort of love story that I had, I unfortunately went into it very young, and it actually went on for a good amount of years, which is crazy. I mean, I'm 22, so that's crazy. But yeah, I was with someone from like maybe 14 to like 18. So like 4 years maybe. But that did not end up very well. Yeah, I found out that basically I was not the only one in their lives. So yeah. But you know what? I grew from it, so that's totally fine. And the last relationship that I had, it was actually like maybe 2 years ago, and like it started in middle of 2019, went on until the end of 2019, and then we broke up around December of 2019, so before the pandemic happened. But yeah, that was very healthy. It was very normal. It didn't, there wasn't anything crazy about that. We just broke up because, he didn't feel like there was enough feeling or chemistry between us. He didn't feel what he needed to feel or felt like he needed to feel. And, he wanted to break up. And I was like, well, if that's how you feel and that's what you want to do, then that's what you want to do. I can't do anything about that. So it was very, adult, I guess you could say. So one question that I just saw actually that I would like to have answered when I spoke about the languages is, can you give a demonstration of the languages that you speak? So since I fluently and honestly with some okayingly, I guess you could say, I speak 3, I will do the other 2 since English is what I've been speaking the whole time, so that I don't think you need a demonstration of. If it is German, also ich kann ein bisschen Deutsch sprechen, also ich weiß nicht wirklich, was ich zu euch sagen kann. Mein Deutsch ist nicht sehr gut. Wenn also jemand hier gerade von Deutschland ist, dann denkt er sich mit Sicherheit, dass also ich könnte schon besser sein. Wie gesagt, ich war ja nur in Deutschland für 7 Jahre und ich habe ein paar Familie noch da, aber wir sprechen nicht so gesagt jeden Tag. Und na klar, jetzt bin ich ein bisschen nervös, also ist mein Deutsch noch ein bisschen schlimmer als normalerweise. Aber ja, also Deutsch sprechen kann ich schon. Ich verstehe es auch sehr gut und ich bin einfach nur nicht so gut, wenn es kommt zum Schreiben oder Lesen. Also Lesen ist noch okay, Schreiben ist schlimmer, aber ja, also das ist Deutsch. E se formos para o português? Bem, o português é um bocadinho melhor porque já estou em Portugal há bastantes anos e falo português claramente todos os dias, mas sim, português é outra língua que eu consigo falar, por isso para toda a gente que fala português de Portugal ou do Brasil provavelmente neste momento consegue me entender, por mais de que eu fui-me dito que eu falei demasiado rápido. Peço desculpa por isso já agora, mas sim, eu falo bastante rápido, mas yeah, that was basically them. So hopefully that was a good enough demonstration of the languages that I speak, and that wasn't too cringy for all of us, so yeah. Who's your favorite K-pop singer or K-pop band? So at this point in time, to be honest, if I had to say my favorite K-pop band group, when it comes to boy groups, I would say probably Stray Kids. Honestly, I have so many groups that I stan, it's hard for me to say one, like there's so many. But at this point in time, I would say Stray Kids, definitely. Stray Kids are like one of the K-pop groups that I definitely like listen to the most. And I watch every single thing that comes out from them. But, I literally react to so many. When it comes to girl groups, at this point in time, I would probably still say either BLACKPINK or ITZY. But I literally also watch so many. It's really impossible for me to tell. When it comes to solo K-pop artists, I would say maybe Chonga, definitely, Sunmi, Jessie. Like I said, it would be hard for me to give you a top of what groups I listen to because I definitely listen to way too many. So, but yeah, one day I'll definitely do a video on all the K-pop groups that I like, if that would be something that you would be interested to see. So let me know in the description down below if you'd like to see that in the comments, not in the description. But yeah, given the chance to live the life of a BL character, who will it be and why? Honestly, now that I literally just finished watching A Tale of a Thousand Stars, I would have to say I would love to live in the life of Tien, because I would love to have the, feeling of being there where he was in the village and doing what he did and having that experience, because I feel like, a lot of times I myself don't realize how much privilege I have. So maybe, being there, I would have somewhat of an amazing experience like he did. It would definitely, change my perspective maybe on a lot of things. And, I feel like that would be something that would be good for basically almost everyone. So that would definitely be one of the choices I would make. But also right now, the one that I'm seeing the new one, he's coming to me. I would love to see what it's like to be a ghost. So maybe that one too. One of those. Okay, so I got another one about the fan service, but in this case, BL and Kpop. Is it a good thing or an unnecessary thing? Is it dangerous or fun or both? So I would definitely say both. Definitely. When it comes to Kpop in general, like, the fan service in Kpop, of course, I've known it a lot more and a lot longer. Reality of it is, I believe that it would never be an issue if we would also have these idols take into consideration and be vocal about the fact that, it's okay and that the LGBT community is there. But a lot of times it's more used for the clout, and of course companies use it for shock value, and they use it because they know that, of course, it is contribution for the group and for the visual that the group has. But I do know also that in general, in Korea, it is much more acceptable for a man to not... There isn't such a huge toxic masculinity, I guess you could say. There still is. But, it isn't as bad. It is pretty normal for boys to have much more skinship that, for example, in my country, where it's basically really looked at in a weird way. So I wouldn't necessarily always assume that it is very bad and always assume that it is for, baiting. I do believe that these boys and these girls definitely just, they've lived their whole lives together. It's basically like their family. They've trained for so many years. It's normal that they feel so close to each other that they can just have something that for all of us and for most of us would be weird to see friends with. So a lot of people will assume and immediately go to, oh my god, they're dating, which a lot of times, of course, it's not the reality. We also don't know. Of course, they are living so long together. It could have been that they created a love relationship that we will never know about. But that's also not our place to know about it, So I always keep it and look at it and like ship videos and all of that in the most healthy sense that it's beautiful to see boys and girls being close like that. And it being just pure love out of and respect with each other, either in a romantic or in a friendship kind of way. That's how I see it. So I see it as a fun thing. But of course, there is the dangerous side of people that are completely taken more to the other side and that take it to a very uncomfortable level. That is not okay. That is not good. But it's like everything else. If in moderation, it's okay. Once it gets out of hand, it's not really that good. Okay, so I got a question about my opinion between the difference between Asian LGBTQ dramas and other LGBTQ dramas as in European, American, etc. Okay, so of course, when it comes to, European and American, we see a much more open reality. We see a much more sexual side of it. We see a much more, it's different, of course. We know that, the Asian reality of it is still pretty closed and it's still pretty, safe, so to say. One thing I do enjoy and I do like is that I'm seeing a lot more in Asian BLs specifically, that there isn't such a huge thing on coming out. A lot of these shows already start with just the people around them accepting it so much normally. Like, you don't see people sort of looking at the character like, you like men? You like men? It doesn't have that anymore. Specifically, for example, in A Tale of a Thousand Stars, it was so normal. It was so okay for everyone in the village that, they were definitely like something. There was definitely something there between the two of them. And it didn't seem like there was a need for anyone to explain it or say it. And a lot of them, I see that. The friends immediately, they don't ask for anything. They don't think about that. And them being so open and being like, do you like him? There isn't that huge thing of, he's a guy, why are you asking me that? And you definitely still see that a lot in American specifically shows. And I feel like, that's one of the things that I definitely love about them and I definitely want to see more of. We've never had it easy. We don't have going to a movie and seeing anything when it comes to us without there being an underlying, oh, I have to be careful, my parents might be seeing this. Oh, I still have some trauma because of this. You know, we never had it easy. We always were, or the supporting side character, or we had the huge coming out show scene, or we were bullied, or, you know, there's always something, somewhat of a negative point in our stories. And that's why, you know, when I see BLs that have a huge impact with straight shows, I sometimes get a bit pity, and I sometimes get, you know, a bit more like, when it comes to the straight scenes. Because, you know, I wish we could go to the cinema, to the movie, and watch an action movie, a science fiction movie, a horror movie, and have such an easy love story. Because even in a horror movie, sometimes the main actor or main actress has a love interest with a guy or a girl, and it's totally normal, you know? Of course, there is still our characters, but we're always still, like, you know, the ones that have something. We never had it easy. So that's something that I definitely would love to see, you know? And it's something that I hope to see one day. So, yeah. So, okay, here is, do you feel more confident now that you know a lot of people like you and your opinions when you interact with others in real life? I think you are one of the best reactors. Thank you. I didn't actually wanted to read that part because I always get sort of like, but thank you. But that definitely was one that I wanted to touch on because honestly, yes. I know it's kind of, you know, weird to say that, but yes. In the beginning, definitely, you know, it took me a while to get my voice in videos. It took me a while to get my face in videos, specifically because I always thought to myself, you will never be able to edit a video with your face in it without wanting to cut everything out. And I have now had moments when I react to or am editing videos where I find myself funny, where I look at myself and I'm like, you looked good that day. And yeah, it's still hard. Sometimes I'm like, and I really cringe at what I'm saying, but it definitely helped a lot. Yeah, my confidence has definitely been a lot better. Honestly, when I started this channel, I was like, you know, I never in a million years would have thought that my channel would have gone anywhere. And honestly, if me from the beginning were to watch my channel now, he would potentially immediately go into, that's not a lot, you're not doing great. I mean, you don't even have 10K followers or something like that. But for me, I interact with you guys every day. I talk with you guys every day. You know, for me, this is already so important. For me, this is already so much. For me, this is so much more than I ever thought it would be. So that is definitely something that I have in mind. That is definitely something that I try to put in myself and put into my mind and feel very proud of. And yeah, you know, I just really hope to see what the future will bring. So it definitely has helped, yes. My voice is going away, as we can tell, because I'm, like I said, sick. So I'm not going to push it too much more. I'm very sorry for that, but yeah, I tried to post this and film this now because I wanted to put it out there as soon as possible, but I'm not going to strain my voice too much because I don't want to, you know, not have a voice tomorrow, and I wanted to be able to react to more videos, so let's try and keep my voice here, there. So yeah, that's basically it. I'll definitely would love to do a part 2 if some of you were interested. I was never in a million years able to you know, comment on every single thing that you guys gave me. So if you'd like to see a part 2, definitely let me know. But hopefully, you know, this was able to give you a bit more of information about me. And yeah, thank you so much for, you know, being with me the past year. If you haven't been with me for a year, if you haven't been with me for a few days, thank you anyway. And I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye.